Mother May is brought to you by Peak. Peak original equipment technology is formulated with the same corrosion inhibiting technology that protected your vehicle when it left the factory. It provides excellent protection against rust and corrosion to all cooling system metals, including aluminum, and is fully compatible with other extended life coolants. With its line of premium 50/50 pre-diluted and concentrated coolant specifically designed to match the technology and color requirements of your specific vehicle, and color cues on the packaging and label in a list of covered vehicles make it easy to identify the right match for your vehicle. Find out more information about all Peak antifreeze and coolants at peakauto.com. And Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, the first dynamic competition for drag racing fans. Go to dragracebracketbonanza.com. It's free. When the fields are set on Saturday night at the Route 66 Nationals presented by Peak, pick all your round-by-round winners in all 4 pro categories. Sign up at dragracebracketbonanza.com at the link below. So the only way I can describe how that race was is, if you didn't enjoy that race, then I really don't know what to tell you. We come into this event, you have the expectations set high because of what we've seen so far this season. The weather did not play nice. We saw the weather be cool on Friday. It spiked on Saturday. Expected Sunday to be just as hot. It ended up cooling off a little bit back to what we experienced on Friday. And then what we got in return from that was just round by round racing that we have not seen the likes of before. This is the epitome of what the NHRA has had so far this season in 2024, and it just keeps getting better as the weeks roll on. Round by round, you saw upsets, you saw red lights, you saw tire smoke, you saw the underdogs do stuff that they're not supposed to do. You saw speeds and updates to storylines and rivalries that are unlike anything you could have asked for. You have the drama going on a bump day, and this lived up to the same level that brings with you, with the stress and the excitement and the uncertainty and the unknown. This is textbook NHRA in this current era, and if you don't enjoy it, then, like I've been saying for years, if you're not watching, you're wasting your time. Then if you don't enjoy this, then this might not be the sport for you, because this isn't just some popularity contest. This isn't some marketing gimmick. This isn't some fashion show. This is textbook motorsport at its finest. The best gladiators that you can find from across the world, bring them into one place and say, hey man or girl, I'm better than you. I know I am. Here's why. Look at the tree and you'll find out why. An incredible race top to bottom. I am so glad they came back to Chicago. Shout out to Jason Logan for playing Rubber Biscuit, Sweet Home Chicago, and all the Blues Brothers music throughout the weekend. Killed it on the DJ set. I love that so much. If you know the history behind the channel name, you know exactly why. We have a lot to go over, round by round racing. We have the interviews and of course the highlights from the NHRA. So before we get into it, if you like the content that I've been giving you, if you like the content that we've had from Indianapolis with the 108th running of the Indy 500 after an incredible bump day, Kevin and Brody just finished recording there at the time that I'm doing this. I'm probably still going to beat them. They called me out last night, and guess what? They still need my help when it comes to editing. So regardless, if you like what we're doing, if you like the interviews, if you like the highlights, subscribe to the channel today. Like, comment, share down below. Show your love for the channel. Show your love for the sponsors, Peak Auto and Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. I have updates on the upsets. If you have not signed up for that, it's free. It is fun. It is exciting. It is engaging. Do it now if you haven't already. Shame on you. All right, let's get into it before I keep babbling on for another 20 minutes, because I'm going to be babbling on for another 20 minutes just over this race in pro stock motorcycle. Jumping straight into it, round one. Chase Van Sant takes on Steve Johnson, clears him by a bike. Angie Smith Hanley takes care of Ryan Ayler to clear a round one victory. A close race sees John Hall sneak around Mark Ingerson for the win. A strong run from Richard Gadsden. He looked a bit of a bobble around the mid-track, still is able to take care of Chris Bostick. Hector on a junior stumps Ron Torno over a bike length win. That's kind of a reoccurring theme. By the way, the Rat was back again today. Turns out there's a woman in that suit. I'm going to go on an assumption it's either a random PR person, I don't even know if he has one, or it might just be his wife. Dave W. talked to her. He said, how can you wear that suit in the summer? It's like, she's from Florida. I called it baby in a hot car syndrome. Looking further, I just lost my nose. Ellie Tonglet got off the line first. Gianna was catching but had to shove the clutch in to avoid hitting the wall. And then Gaige Herrera stopped any doubts of what we expected this weekend. He was slower on the bike, said that the valve heads that he has, or the head, like the Vance Knights has, are the heaviest in the class, so it takes him a lot longer to get off the bike. When you have hot conditions like this, it's even more challenging, so he's unable to get the 60 foot times that he usually does. Goes out there round one, low ET of the vent, just absolutely demolishes Wesley Wells, no offense to him. Clears him by over a bike and then some to take the win. And then Lance Bonham in his matchup against Matt Smith struggled to get off the line. Matt Smith screams down to an easy round one victory. In round two, Hector Honor Jr., he had issues on the starting line with after his burnout. This is a similar thing that we've seen last year, and this is something that is very reoccurring over the course of the summer months. I saw it at Indianapolis. I think we saw it the race prior to that, back at Brainerd. I'm not sure. It could be very much wrong. Matt Smith, though, has been very vocal, especially in Indianapolis, called him out directly in the media center because of that incident, saying that he takes the longest out of anybody in the class to stage because of those instances. It hurts his bikes. It hurts Angie's bike. Everybody on Matt Smith Racing, it hurts their bikes when that happens, and he has been very vocal to the NHRA. No surprise there. Been very vocal that they need to do something about that. Well, it happened again. Scuffed the burnout, bike shut off, they started it up again. Matt Smith, who was standing right next to where I was on his bike, and the next pair getting ready to go out, got off the bike and looked Herrera directly in his eye from across the lanes and watched as Angie sat there staging, looking back. He's like, come on, let's go. Hector Honor Jr. then goes up to stage, and what ends up happening is it doesn't affect Angie, who runs away with it, takes the win. And then a major upset in the pair following. Matt Smith should have stayed on his bike because he ended up losing to Chase Van Sant, who had a killer weekend today. An incredible performance, as you can see on the bracket, ran all the way to the finals. We'll get back to that later. Gadsden's bike ends up breaking as soon as he hits the gas. Eli Tongo gets an easy win, and then Herrera dominated another win and beats John Hall. In the semifinals, Chase Van Sant jumped Angie Smith off the line, has a bike length lead before half track, runs to the first final of the season. Gaige cuts a .012 reaction time, leaves Eli Tongo in the mirror and advances to another final round. In the final round, death, taxes, sky's blue, taxes suck. Gaige Herrera wins another race, destroys him, clears him by a bike length. No offense to Chase Van Sant whatsoever, because what I will say, and this surprised me, it surprised Gaige Herrera too, because I asked him about it in the media center before we started, had almost identical 60 foot times. Gaige Herrera had a 1:0:41 60 foot, and Chase Van Sant had a 1:0:42, and that's an impressive thing to do, because not even Matt Smith has been able to get that. It was an impressive victory for Gaige Herrera, an impressive run for Chase Van Sant as well. We always look to Matt Smith as possibly the person leading the charge in the V-Twin Buells. Very easily could be Chase Van Sant that takes it over. In Pro Stock, round one, David Quadra red lights against Jerry Tucker, giving him an automatic and easy win. Eric Latino failed his two steps. He red lights as well. Dallas Glenn takes his win in round one. Hartford does not get off the line the way he wants. Christian Quadra runs away with a 0.03 reaction time. Stanfield gets the win over Fernando Quadra Jr., blows a motor at the finish line and coasts down completely lost in smoke. Devastating engine failure. We ended up being under the delay. It was a question of whether or not it was oiled on the track or they just detonated the motor and had parts shut down over across the shutdown area. They end up getting it repaired, coming back for round two. Next pair, close race ends with Greg Anderson defeating Derek Kramer on an itty-bitty hole shot. And then Troy Coughlin Jr. barely defeats Kenny Delco, also on a little hole shot. Hartford called his shot on the top end and said John DeFlorian would absolutely beat Enders in round one. Called his shot the same way Erica called out Greg Anderson. Only this time, it didn't bite him in the rear end in the next round. John DeFlorian destroys the tree, a .013 reaction time, wins on a hole shot. It was the biggest bracket buster of the entire event. It ruined a lot of people's bracket, including my own, because only 2.58% of players guessed he was going to win that race. Round two, Christian Quadra red lights, giving Anderson an easy round win. Jed Coughlin swerves a tire slightly off the line, catches it, but was already half a car behind. Stanfield takes it. John DeFlorian rattles the tire, it's the same spot. Tucker also runs away to the win. And then the last one, you saw Jed Coughlin, Troy Coughlin Jr. and Dallas Glenn both leave the line clean, race it all the way down to the finish line. Dallas Glenn sneaks away by a hair. In the semifinals, Jerry Tucker, a similar incident to, I believe, Eric Lucino. Two-step fails, runs right through the beams and red lights. Aaron Stanfield advances to the final round. Dallas Glenn jumps Greg Anderson off the line, opens the gap towards the finish, and advances to the final round. And then in the final round, both leave near identical times. Dallas Glenn has a 0.02 of a second advantage off the tree, and he's able to drive away with over a half a car length win. It cleared him by the time he got to the finish line. Dallas Glenn wins the Chicago Route 66 Nationals. Now for the field cars in Funny Car. Jared Todd said last night this could be a driver's track. Smokes the tires off the line as Alexis DeJoria drives down the track and goes to the win with a near miss on the wall. That was another bracket buster moment as it ruined 62.44% of the players' brackets. Bobby Bodie almost stole a win. That would have been another major bracket buster, but the car quit on him towards the end. Paulie's able to drive around and secure it. Jack Wyatt's car refused to start on the line. He's not able to get it going, has to back out of it. Austin Prock ends up getting an easy win. After that, a solid run from Dave Richard, who faced off against Bob Tasca, but you can have a solid one or you can have a great one. That's not the case for Dave Richards. He's still in the learning process of trying to learn how that car handles, of getting used to it with the power that he has. It's been a struggle for him all season long, but his first real clean run of the weekend, and it was a really good one too. Give a whole lot of credit to him. It was a round loss win, but still not able to beat Bob Tasker at 398. Buddy Hull spins the tires, tries to drive out of it, bucks like a Bronco. John Force sails down, playing it safe to a 4.042. Ron Capps lost a cylinder and smokes the tires at about 300 feet. Matt Hagen hangs on and crosses the center line after 1,000 feet. If it's after 1,000 feet, you keep your win. Daniel Wilkerson hazed the tires at first 800 feet. Cruz Pedregon would immediately spin the tires afterwards, even worse than he did. Daniel Wilkerson's able to save it, hang on to that victory. In round two, Tasker smoked tires at 60 feet. Blake Alexander's car quit at 800 feet and coasts to the win. For the next round, Paul Lee had a clean race down the racetrack. He was catching Matt Hagen, but the car gave out towards the end. Matt Hagen moves on to the semis. Daniel Wilkerson stole a win from Austin Prock, who loses a cylinder early, gets away with a narrow finish. Alex DeJoria slept on the tree about I believe a 0.4 reaction time, was napping on the starting line against John Force, which is not something you want to do. John Force gets a very easy round win there. In the semifinals, Blake Alexander facing off against Matt Hagen, a rematch of the Norwalk final round. Blake doesn't get the Cinderella story. He ends up smoking the tires at the jump. Hagen runs down the track to make the final round, his 90th final round appearance of his career. John Force would face off against Daniel Wilkerson. Wilkerson would leave first, but Force muscled his way around him and advanced to his second final round win of the season, a rematch of the Pomona final round. Final round, like I said, matchup between Matt Hagen and John Force. Not the same outcome as Pomona. Force jumped in deep, leapt first, had a cylinder out early, and fought the car down the racetrack. Hagen scores his second win of the season, 51st of his career, and the 4th of his career at Chicago. Lastly, in round one, Tony Schumacher, driving the Don Schumacher Special, scuffs the burnout, smokes the tires. Dan Mercier gets his second career first round win. That was another bracket buster. It was only 13.96% of the players picked Dan to win that round. Clay Milliken ran a 4.08 and gets away with a round win after Kyle Wurzel shuts off. Justin Ashley scored a major hole shot win against Doug Coletta with a 0.44 reaction time. That was another bracket buster as he was ruined 67.97% of the brackets. I don't even know how you would guess that, because in fact I picked Justin Ashley because I was very confident in what he said to me last night. Maybe you should watch the videos more, you won't have that happen to you too. Jasmine Salinas scared the crowd during her round one matchup against Antron Brown. Kept with him for about a portion of the track, about half track, spun the tires, ends up crossing the center line. Luckily, Antron Brown had already passed her, but then she almost has a near miss, almost colliding in the wall of Antron Brown's lane. So a very scary moment for her. She's able to hang on to it. Round two, Clay leaves first against Steve Torrance, but Steve immediately drives around him and narrowly beats him to the line. Justin Ashley smokes the tires off the line, tries to pedal to no avail. Antron Brown screams down the track to take the win. TJ Zizzo, who last year in the semifinals against Josh Hart, red lit there. He comes into this race, he ends up losing because he fell asleep on the tree. So you red lit the year before, and now you fall asleep on the tree this year. Horrible mistake for him. Tries to catch Dan Mercier, but the car quits towards the end. Mercier has a Cinderella story on his hands, making it to the semifinals. Sean Reed hazes the tires in his matchup against Sean Langdon. Sean takes the win. Semi-final matchup. Steve smokes the tires off the step, tries to pedal it, but Antron was already gone. Antron Brown made his 135th career final round, and then the Cinderella story ended in the semifinals. Dan Mercier beat Langdon off the line, but is unable to answer against Sean Langdon's 376. That Coletta car looks really fast. And then in the final round, Sean's car got off the line slower, did not have the step that he needed to compete with Antron Brown. Antron screams down the track and scores his first win of the season, the 75th of his career, including his pro stock motorcycle career, and as well his first win since the 2023 U.S. Nationals. We have interviews with all of your winners from today's event, so let's hear from them. But first, like we always do, let's hear a word from our great partners, Picado.
Protect your vehicle with Peak Original Equipment Technology. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle.
They leave here. It is Gaige by 15 thousandths. And Gaige Herrera has officially rewritten the history books of NHRA drag racing with an 8th straight victory in pro stock motorcycle, 671.3 at 200. He has now surpassed Dave Schultz's mark of 7 straight wins.
Gaige Herrera is now officially in the record books, 8 straight wins on a pro stock motorcycle. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you very much. I mean, to get that kind of record, you know, I looked up to Dave Schultz growing up. You know, he's one of the legends of the sport. You know, I think he's what made pro stock motorcycle what it is, and just to be able to, you know, be closer, you know, in that same record book as him, it's just amazing. And I got to give it all up to whole Vance and Hines Mission, Motul, Revzilla, all of them. I mean, yeah, this is not possible without them, and I can't thank all my friends for coming out. And yeah, this is for all of them. I'm excited.
All KB on one side, all Elite on the other. And they're gone within 2 thousandths. 26 light for Glenn, 28 light for Stanfield. And at the stripe, it is going to be Dallas Glenn. 656.7, 208 miles per hour. A 10th career victory for the young man who just has loved this class his whole life and is excelling at it week by week.
Dallas Glenn about to get his 10th pro stock Wally right there. You know, Dallas is such a student of the sport, of the game, that he's looking at his ETA slip, and I said, you know, it doesn't matter. You won. He said, yes, it does matter. Congratulations.
Thank you. You know, man, I love this track. I love this car. I love my sponsors. I love my team. You know, I'm doing the burnout, and I back up. They're still making changes to it. I think they might need a few more cars. I think they had too much time to think about it on this one. But let me tell you, that was an awesome feeling run right there. I don't think it set down until halfway through second gear. Thing was smooth. It was straight. It was a great car. It's Jerry Haas builds a one fast hot rod. Rad Torque Systems gets another win. Right on. I think that's number 10 for them. You got DPF Parts Direct, Jesse, Summit, all of them. My wife, Sadie. Yeah, this is good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The funny car final at the Route 66 Nationals. They leave the starting line. Force has got cylinders out. Hagen drives away. 399.8 at 323.27 miles an hour. Matt Hagen has now collected back-to-back victories on this season, and he is making a big case for himself as he is now the points leader.
Matt Hagen accepts his 51st Wally from the folks at Gerber. And Matt, you and I talked at the beginning of the show, and it was all about 5 different drivers and 5 different races were the victors. Well, you just threw that stat out the window. What do you have to say to you and your team, for your team, to hold that Wally here today?
Well, Mark Whitney that writes the checks, he told me, he said, you made my day longer. He said, so you better go ahead and finish this thing. So apologize to his daughter for making a long day at the racetrack, but we're glad to have him here. Massive Dodge race with direct connection. If you guys want fast race car parts, check that stuff out. And I'm just glad my guys, what a tricky racetrack, man. This track is just threw us loops left and right. We got stuck in the bad lane for most of the day. And Dickie Venables, Mike Knutsis, Alec Conway, and my boys wrenching. They just did a great job, man. And I felt like I had to drive the wheels off of it today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The tree flashes and they leave. Antron leaves first. Sean Langdon fishtails a race car, and Antron Brown outruns him. 383.8 at 324 miles an hour. The team, the old masters, the guys that have been together for so many years, a moment of elation. Their last win, or first win since last year's U.S. National.
Antron Brown accepts his Wally from the folks at Gerber Collision, who are our sponsor here today. Antron, you got your first victory of the season. You were solid all day long. You had a consistent car, but you need to find a little performance, and you found it in the final. What was the key to this victory here today, buddy?
Oh, man, you got to step up when you're racing a team like that in SL. Him and my son's been in numerous finals, and we know it's going to be a crazy, crazy final. Thank you, congrats. Thank you. And we know what they ran. They ran an A2, A3 there. But first of all the glory goes to God. And for Don Schumacher, our boss, our guy that got us all out here, dedicating this to him and his family. We had a special memorial this weekend for him, but another guy that's down, we're missing our crew guy, Alex. Alex, you know what's going on. This is for your dad, brother. We love you. We're missing you, man. And this is for Daddy Mark up there, brother. So one thing is so special for Maco Tools, Lucas Oil, all of our sponsors, Summit Racing, everybody, Hanks the First, Sirius XM Toyota, FVP. We love all these people, and Hanksford's, they make it happen, and all these fans here in Chicago. It feels good to be back here at Route 66, and hey, I tell you, oh, Lord have mercy, look at that. I don't know what it is, but we're not counting yet, but we're going, man. At 75, Lord have mercy. What a blessing. Mark, Brian, the Mako boys, great, great job. It's truly blessed to be on this team, and God gets all the glory, baby. Woo!
For the past few months, we've heard multiple people in the media and racers talk about, oh, it's not you, it's the bike. Oh, if I was on the bike, it'd be better, so on and so forth. To come out here, first round, go low ET at the event, and then go about a bike length half on every single race that you win, how much of a satisfaction do you get out of that to be able to go out there and say, hey, you know, it might be the bike, but you can't take away the fact that you're still one of the best riders in this class by far?
Yeah, I mean, we hear it all the time, it's the bike, you know, and someone else can jump on it and do the same thing, which, you know, it's probably very possible. Anyone can, you know, there's a lot of great riders out here. My bike is, I mean, it runs very good. They all got we swap motors around between all three of our bikes, so it's not like certain motors, certain chassis, you know, it's just the overall combo. I mean, it's the Pro Stock motorcycle is the most meticulous class, because body movement dictates a lot. You can scrub a lot. You stick a shoulder out too far in the wind, you're scrubbing speed. I mean, just overall, my combo with Andrew and us bouncing ideas back and forth, I think is what's made that bike so deadly and very consistent.
So going into this weekend, you've been on this, you and all of KB Titan's been on this warpath with Elite Motorsports for the past couple of years. To see how well you guys perform not only in the call-out, but in this race, getting around roughshod like John DeFlorian, beating Erica Enders in round one. Just how big of a step and a feeling accomplishment is that for you and all of KB Titan to see where you guys are with Elite, to be able running right with them and then taking them out in the early rounds?
I think the warpath is just heating up. I think it's probably going to get more exciting as we go. You know, I still don't think we're there yet. I think there's still lots of R&D to do. We definitely need to get better. They can definitely show that they can outrun us when they need to during qualifying and when the track's really good. So we're not quite there yet. I think we've definitely figured out how to get down hot, greasy tracks, and coming into the summer months, I think that'll be good. But when the track cools down and the tracks get good again, it's definitely going to be a fight. You can never stop in pro stock. You have to keep going. You have to keep improving, and I think that's the only way that this is going to be a fight all the way to the end.
I talked with you back on Friday about the competition level that this class has right now. You went through Ron Capps, you went through Paulie, Blake Alexander, and then had to end it off with the icon John Force. For people who just may not fully understand, how challenging is it to win in a race in this class, in this era?
Yeah, well, you used to have some race cars and drivers and stuff that you're going like, all right, man, we're supposed to beat this guy. And now that's just not the case. Like, everybody that rolls up there, they truly, have an opportunity to turn a win light on. Everybody has the same parts and pieces, and you're rubbing on it and massaging it. And, so the rules are just so tight right now that, you saw Tasca kind of get dinked a little bit for the manifold thing and the header thing, and it's just everybody. And there's nothing wrong with him wanting to live in the gray area. I mean, hats off to him if he can get by with it. It's just you're not allowed to do any of that stuff. They're trying to slow us down. You know, the magic number is 335. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. And, you know, so it's like, don't touch it. You're not allowed. So everybody has the same stuff. And all these guys are so smart that, you know, you give them enough runs with these combinations that they're just going to be super competitive. And it feels like it's turned into pro stock at 335 miles an hour, you know, so it's just super competitive. So the guys back in the day that you know, were kind of learning combinations, or you would go over and help them, you're not helping them no more because everything is like, it's so competitive, right? So, you know, it's one of those things where this is the toughest I've felt like this class has been since I can remember, you know. So you go up there every run digging deep as a driver, trying to cut a light, trying to keep it in the groove, knowing that you need to give a couple hundreds on the racetrack for your guys because it's the difference of turning the next wind line on.
And then I also talked to you as well about where your plans are for Indy. Are you going to bring that Wally with you to the snake pit?
Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to go, man. It's one of those things where I got a 10-hour drive to do some NHRA media in front of me tomorrow or Tuesday. Try to drive a little bit tonight, drive a little bit tomorrow, and get ready to do some media in Richmond. And you know, our days off are few and far between, so we really take advantage of just being able to be at home and just, you know, try to cut my grass. You know, it's Jurassic Park when I get there. You know what I mean? So just do all that kind of stuff, but. You know, the biggest thing is just these don't come very often, so the wins that you do get, you're lucky if you win one a year, you know, but if you get 3 or 4, like last year we won 6, you have to learn to enjoy those, right? Like you have to take that in, and I used to be so greedy that I was like, oh, on to the next, and what we got to do, you know? But sometimes it's nice to have a few days to just kind of like set it up on the shelf and look at it a little bit and rub on it a little bit and knock the dust off of the rest of them and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I've learned as I got a little older just to take it in, enjoy it. You know, they're very hard to come by, so, you know, just appreciate it when you get it.
So this win has a lot of significance surrounding it for you, not only with it being your 75th career win, but also the fact that this is the weekend that we remember the life of Don Schumacher, the guy that put that risk to put you in a dragster. Just talk about the importance and the significance of this win with everything around it, and where does it rank for you personally on your list of wins that you've had?
It's always been big. Every time we just came to Joliet, the Chicago area, this is Don's hometown. So I remember winning races here in the top fuel class for Don, and I was like, thank you, you won my home race. And I know he's looking down on all of us right now, seeing Matt in the final, seeing and winning the race, and then seeing us win the race. That was like old times. That would have been like an old DSR double up, man. And it brings a tear to my eye because we had the memorial service this weekend with all the family and friends from DSR to Schumacher Electric to all the old race team and everybody that was there, from Megan, Chad, all of his daughters, Tara, Samantha, Tony was there. And it was so special. And seeing Don's sister was there. So I used to call her Auntie. So when I go back and we saw all that, man, it felt really good to pull that win off, because that's the first one. We gave glory to God, and we said, hey, this is for the old shoe. And we have a guy on our team named Alex Burlington, and he wasn't here with us today because he lost his dad on Thursday. So this is for Mark, his dad. And this race has a lot of special meaning where we didn't quit, we didn't give up, but we had like an extra force with us this weekend to pull that win off. And all that goes to all of them, for sure.
So that is going to wrap up our coverage here from the Chicago Route Gerber Glass Collision Route 66 Nationals, presented by, there it is. Hey, how about that? Peak, how about that? Thank you guys so much for watching all weekend long. The interaction you guys have been giving me on social media is great. I've loved being here. The communications I've had with people within the NHRA, it really makes me kind of start to understand my place in the sport right now, which is a lot higher than what I originally thought. That's a weird feeling. I don't know how to deal with that. That's going to be fun to deal with. I'm going to leave the next part I was going to say out because that doesn't need to be in here. I'm already enough trouble as it is. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content that we provided, not only here in NHRA, but also with the Indianapolis 500, like I said at the beginning, be sure to subscribe today to the channel. Be sure to like, comment, share down below to everybody know, to get everybody involved in drag racing, except for the people who might not have liked today's race. I don't know what to tell you, man, or girl, or whatever you go by. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on social media pages down below, Mighty Mac 03 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, yada, yada, yada. You know the rest. Support our sponsors, Peak Auto, Drag Race Back at Bonanza, so that way you could play that next time at the New England Nationals in a couple weeks' time. We're going to be covering the rest of the Indianapolis 500. Be sure to go watch Kevin and Brody's video on that. as well as hopefully what will be our Bristol coverage if we're able to make it down there in time for that race. We have a lot of stuff planned for the summer months. It's going to be a very, 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 very fun summer months. And until the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500, or I guess I should say Monday practice and Carb Day 2, this has been Mighty Mac. I will see you next time.